Hello, let's do the New York Times Medium Sudoku for June 9th, 2024. As a teaching aid, I do use a somewhat systematic method to approaching the puzzle, which is also fun. If I use the word systematic, sometimes people think not fun, but this is actually a way that's more fun than you might think to approach a Sudoku. So I definitely recommend sticking around. But what I will say is that I can't spend the time explaining from first principles in every video, because then every video would be over an hour long. So what I've done is I've created a video that I'm very proud of in the description, where if you do get confused about this method or how any of the techniques work, or you want to learn more details about them, you can check out the video in the description where I go over that in great detail. It is over an hour long, as I said. But if you aren't new here, I will still be giving reminders of the terms and everything that I'm using, and I do explain as I go, just not as in-depth as that video. So anyway, there is a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, so we start by going band by band, and we're looking for duplicate digits. And so we're going to start with the box with the fewest digits. We have fewer to remember. So 6 and 8, and we look for 6s and 8s in the other two boxes. So one at a time, we have the 6s. That does put a 6 in one of these two. And we have the 8s. That puts an 8 in one of these two. We are using corner marks to represent that within the box, we have reduced that digit to just those two cells. So the corner marks go into the cells that digit can still go in the box. All right, so that's the 6 and 8. Now we look at 2, 7, 9, because we already looked at 6. We look over here. We do have 7 and 9. So again, one at a time, we have these two 7s looking in. Puts a 7 up here. We have these two 9s looking in, and this 9 looks up. So with that, and the 6 occupying the spot, we have a hidden single 9 in the box, so we can place it. Only one cell left for the 9, so we place the 9 there. Okay, so that's it for duplicate digits. Before we move on, there are two things we look for that may or may not be present. One is filled box rows. There are no filled box rows. The second is rows or boxes that have been reduced to 4 or fewer open cells. I don't see any of those either. So we're going to move on. So I'm going to start with this 3, 7 here. There are no duplicate 3, 7s. So now we compare these two boxes. We have 2, 4, 5. No duplicates there either. So we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. We're just missing the 6 here, and there are no duplicates. Interesting. Okay, so no filled box rows, no rows or boxes down to 4 or fewer. So literally nothing to do in this band, and that's okay. In this band, you can see from this 5 that we do have a duplicate 5. 5 goes down here. Oops, not in all 3. 5 goes down there and corner marked. But I am not seeing anything else to do in this band either. So let's move on. Now we'll do stacks. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you've almost finished the puzzle by the time you finish the bands. And sometimes you've done almost nothing. So it really depends on the puzzle. We still have to go through the stacks. And if we get through the stacks and the puzzle's not done, then there are further phases that we can do. Don't worry, we will solve the puzzle. All right, so 1 and 5, we have the duplicate 5. Those look up. We have a 5 in one of these 3. We also have the 2 and the 4. Those do not help at all, though. All right. Any filled box columns? No. Any columns or boxes down to 4 or fewer? No. Okay. So we're going to move on to this stack here. And we're just seeding the board with the low-hanging fruit deductions. That's all we're doing. Sometimes that's enough to solve the puzzle, sometimes not. All right, we got the 3 and the 6. We do have these two 6s here. Puts a 6 in one of these two. We also have 1, 8, 9. The 8 and the 9 both help. So I'm going to take them together because they're basically identical. The 8 and 9s both look down here. That's going to corner mark 8 and 9s here. All right, and that's it for duplicates there. No filled box columns. No column or box down to 4 or fewer. All right, now we do this. Stack here. So the 5, no duplicates for the 5. The 3, no duplicates for the 3, but we do have the 7. 7's in one of these 3. All right, so we got almost nothing from our initial scan. That's rare, but it does happen. It means that there's something more subtle that we need to find that's going to kind of crack open the puzzle and allow us to solve it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go box by box now. This is our phase 2. And what we want to do is make sure we have two things. One, make sure we've respected all our corner marks. We haven't even center marked anything yet, so there's really not much to say in terms of that, but maybe there was some follow-up we didn't do. Always good to just pay attention to the corner marks. Just give it some laser focus. But then also see if there were any corner marks that we could do in the box that maybe we missed because of some subtleties. Especially interactions between both the band and the stack, or interactions with placement of givens. So to start with, in this box here, we're looking at the 5, we're looking at the 6, really nothing special to say about that. This placement of givens is interesting because there's no givens in this column here. So one thing we can look for is anything in this column that isn't in the box yet, because it's going to take it out of all 3 of these. So the 2 is a prime example of that. So this 2 here is taking 2 out of all 3 of these. And then if you look over here, we also have a 2 here that takes it out of this cell. So actually the 2 is placed in this box. And it's placed because of the interaction between the band and the stack, which we weren't looking for in our initial pass. But you can see our initial pass did not take very long, and it doesn't when there's not much to find. So we can actually place the 2 here. This is the only cell in the box that can be 2, so it must be hidden single. And when we do that, that displaces one of our 6 corner marks. We now have 1 fewer 6 corner mark, and actually we have 1 left. And so that tells us that 6 is now a hidden single in the box there. Now that did displace a 5 corner mark. We still have 2 left, so we can't place it. But what it did do is it really filled up this box. So what we want to do is follow up on the band and the stack. Now that we have this 2, 6 placed, look for buddies, look for filled box rows and filled box columns, look for rows, columns, or boxes down to 4 or fewer related to this box, right? Related to these bands and stacks. So let's do it. So we do have duplicate 2 now, so 2 ends up here. The 6 is already finished over here. Now, before I do more with the band, I'm going to look for buddies for the stack, right? So looking for buddies is the most important first step. We always want to do that first. All right, so we have 2s there. The 6 does not have a buddy. But I am noticing that we did have a 6 over here. So this 6 looking down, this 6 looking in, does put a 6 in one of these 2. Since we're on phase 2 and we're looking for interactions like that, it's good to just check if you've found something like that as a follow-up. We're trying to pay attention to more right now than we initially did. And so now these 6s do what's called pointing. So within this box, we have limited the 6 to these 2 cells, which our corner marks are designating for us, or reminding us of. Now, whether the 6 ends up here or here, those are the 2 options. Whichever one it ends up in, it will be in row 9, this final row, which means the rest of row 9 cannot be 6. So it's as if we have a 6 placed over here to buddy up with this 6. So there can't be a 6 here, there can't be a 6 here. This 6 looks down, so there's a 6 in one of these 2 cells. Okay. And so that's the follow-up with that 6 we just got there. We also, we did fill this box row. So when we fill a box row, we want to look at all of the digits in the 2 rows that it's not in and the 2 boxes it's not in. And so we don't care about empty cells. And we don't care about digits that are already in the box, 2 and 6 and 9. Okay, so we didn't find anything, but still worth looking. Now we look for rows, columns, boxes that have been reduced to 4 or fewer. I'm going to start with this box, which is down to 3 digits. So what are the 3 digits? They are the 1, 4, and 5. And I'm seeing that this cell here sees a 4 and a 5. So if it's from 1, 4, 5, but not 4, 5, then it is only 1. That is a naked single 1. And then we're left with 4, 5 over here. Now that 4, 5 pair does affect the column, removing 4 and 5 from the rest of the column. So that we can think of there being a buddy 4 here, looking down. This 4 looks down. And so we can actually corner mark 4s down here. All right, additionally, this row has been reduced to 3 options. So let's look at that. We're always looking at the ones with the fewest options first, because those are going to be the most juicy. Oh, and I should explain the center marks. Just a reminder, my center marks mean that this cell has been reduced to that list of digits. So in the solution, this cell here will end up being a 4 or a 5 and nothing else. We don't know whether it's a 4 or a 5 yet, but we know it's one of those 2. It's an exhaustive list of candidates that could go in that cell. All right, so now here we're going to be center marking again. So we've got 1, 4, and 5 remaining here. We're looking around for 1, 4, 5s that might help out. We don't see any. So we'll just center mark 1, 4, 5 there and leave it alone. This row has been reduced to 4. And so including this 4, 5, it has 4 open cells. So we need the 3, 4, 5, 8. This can't be the 8. So this is 3, 4, 5 only. We already have the 8s marked over here. This can't be the 5. So this is 3, 4, 8. And this can be any of 3, 4, 5, 8. Since it is 4 digits remaining, 4 candidates, we do not center mark it. We only center mark 3 or fewer. It keeps things from getting too crowded. Even with 3 or fewer, you can end up pretty crowded. But if you just start penciling everything, then everything ends up penciled, and it's really hard to find the important things like finding triples, finding pairs, that sort of thing. Okay, so that does it for the band. The stack may have more. Yeah, so this column is down to 4, so we want to think about it. We need the 2, 6, 7, 9. So I think neither of these can be 2, so they're down to 6, 7, 9, and I am seeing the 7 here. That takes 7 out of there. So it's down to just 6, 9. And then down here, 2, 6, 7, 9, this can't be 6, so this is 2, 7, 9, but I think this can be any of 2, 6, 7, 9. So nothing to do there. Okay, what else do we have? We have this column here that has been reduced to 3, 4, 6, 8. So I'm seeing that 4 can't be in either of these, right? We have that corner mark down here. So these are down to 3, 6, 8, and I'm seeing the 3 and the 8, which we'll clean up in a second. Yeah, clean up the 3, clean up the 8. Now I'm suspicious of a lot of these buy value cells we have, 6, 9, 6, 8, 3, 6, but I'm not seeing exactly what to do with them at the moment, but they are suspicious. Now down here, it's still 3, 4, 6, 8. We do have the 6 here. So this is 3, 4, 8. And I think this can be any of 3, 4, 6, 8. Okay. This is 5 left, so we're not going to worry about that right now. All right, any other follow-ups that we didn't do? I think we did all the follow-ups. Okay. So now what we do is we took a look at this box. We got quite a bit out of it. We do want to remember that 4 and 5. Yeah, we have the 4 and the 5s taken care of. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next box now. Notice we got all that just from looking a little bit closer at one of the boxes. We got 8 more to go. So we have this 2 and 7 corner marked up here. We just want to make sure we're respecting that in the row and the box. No more 2s and 7s. Also, we can take a look at, for example, things looking into here, right? The 6, 8, 9 that's already placed. We can look for what I call crossings. Unfortunately, this column and this row and this box are all just 6, 8, 9. So we're not going to find a whole lot from that. So I would say that we're probably not going to find anything in this box at this point. This 1, 3, unfortunately kind of go through 2 of our givens. So they do affect this cell positively, but only just by removing 1, 3. So I really don't think there's anything to find in this box. So let's move on to the next box. So what I want to do is focus on things like this. Basically, what I want to focus on is we only have 3 digits down here. So how do those 3 digits affect the box? Well, 7's already placed. So we just want to think about 3s and 5s. We want to think about 3s and 5s over here as well. The only thing I'm seeing is we have this 3 here. We don't have any other 5s that are of note. No 5s placed. And you can just see how these 3s don't quite affect this box in a way that's useful. Because 3 is limited to these 3 cells and it turns corner. We don't mark that. So I don't think there's anything else to find here because we're looking for digits in the band and stack kind of cooperating in helping out the box, and I'm just not seeing that. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good there. Let's move on to this box here. So we have this 2, 4, 5. So this is pretty open. We want to think about how the 8 might be affecting things. We do have these 8s looking in. So that's a crossing on this 2, 5, right? If you pay attention to this 2, 5, it's got a column it's not in, which has all of these digits, right? Let's look at the digits only that we only want to care about the digits that are not already in the box. So not the 5, but the 1, 3, and 8 are all interesting. And then we only want to care about the ones that have digits down here, but all of 1, 3, 8 do. So this is going to be really, really useful. So I'm going to take them one at a time in order of numerical order, 1, 3, and 8. So this 1 looks down, this 1 looks in. And every single time we're going to do this 2, 5, because it's a crossing on the 2, 5, are also, they're going to be missed by those digits, meaning that there are 2 other digits that aren't that digit. And so now we also have this 1 looking in. I think I missed the buddy 1 somehow. I'm not sure how that happened, but now we found it. And so now that places the 1 in this box. That 1 does have a buddy here, putting a 1 in one of these 2. Oops. I've been missing random things recently, and I apologize for that. But anyway, that 1, we also have the 3 looking in and this 3 looking in, and now this 1 occupies one of the spots. So this is the 3. That removes 3 from here. 3 has a buddy. So these 2 3s look down, this 3 looks in, putting a 3 in one of these 2. And we're going to look at the 8 next. This 8, look in, and that puts an 8 in one of these 2. Now that's going to point, because 8's either here or here. They're both in row 5, so that points, removing 8 from these. This 8 looks in. And so 8's in one of these 2. Now this is another thing I talk about again in the video that I linked. This is a hidden pair. When we have 2 overlapping quarter marks, What this is saying is that the 1 is limited to these two, and the 8 is limited to these two. That is a hidden pair. Nothing but 1 or 8 can go in those two cells. Now, whenever we get a hidden pair, we want to think about the consequences. The consequence is that certain digits were removed from those two cells in order to make it a 1-8 only. So it wasn't the 1 wasn't removed, not the 2 was already not available, not the 3. But for example, 4, 6, 8, and 9 are no longer available in these cells. So we want to think about 4s, 6s, 8s, and 9s. So for example, I've got this 4 and this 9 looking in, and these are not 4, 9 anymore. And so now 4 and 9 are limited down here, and this isn't a 9. And that's going to point into this box. The 4 points in here along with this 4, putting a 4 up here. And then the 9 points in here along with this 9, placing the 9 in this box. So these 9s point over, this isn't 9 anymore. And that places the 9 in the box right here. Very nice. This is reduced to a triple now, and we can see that our 6s are vertically corner marked, which means these are not 6, but we need a 6 for the row. So this is the only place for 6 in the row. Oh, sorry, let's clean up this 9 as well. The 9 has a buddy. Sometimes you just have to make a decision on what you're going to follow up on. I probably shouldn't be following up here yet because I have a lot more to find here. And you can only focus on one thing at a time. There's a lot of things to focus on right now. And I apologize if you're seeing something and going, why are you not filling that in? Well, it's because I'm filling this in. I'm sorry. I don't have like 10 hands and 10 mice to just immediately fill everything. So I try to focus on what my attention is on and what I think is going to be fruitful. And there may be something elsewhere that my attention's not on that's also fruitful, and I apologize if I'm missing that. But my rule is only tell me that I missed it if I'm sitting there stuck, not sure what to do, and there's something glaringly obvious to do. So anyway, if I'm making progress, I have not missed anything. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Anyway, this is a 3-4 pair to finish off the row. This is a 6, 7, 8s left for the box. This 6 tells us this is 6, so this is 7, 8. Whoops, I was in the wrong mode. This is 7, 8. Okay, what else do we have going on here? We got the 3, 4, the 1, 8. There's 3 digits left for this box because we basically know where the 3, 4 are. They're up there. So we need the 2, 5, and 7. There really isn't anything about 2, 5, 7 that I can see. So we'll just leave that there. All right, is there anything else to do in this band before we follow up elsewhere? Yeah, so I was thinking about this 6, I think. Yeah, because we found the 4 and the 9, but 6 was also removed. 8, 1, 3. Okay, so does this 6 help? Not really. 6 is in these 3, and I can't really do anything with that right now. Okay, so the fact that 6 was removed from these, I don't think is immediately helpful. Cool. So I think we're done with following up that band. Notice that we got quite a bit. As soon as we find a box that has more to find, we get a lot of progress. Okay, but we still have to follow up on this stack. We haven't done that yet. So we got this 1, 3, and 9. So we want to make sure we followed up on those. This is when I would have done it. I shouldn't have jumped ahead earlier. But also we have like this column here is down to 2, 6, 7. So we'll just fill that out. This column here is down to 4, 6, 8. This bottom row just doesn't see anything, which is unfortunate. Okay, anything else of note to do here? We have the 4, 5 pair. So this is down to 4. It is the 3, 7, 8, 9. So this is not a 3. So this is only 7, 8, 9. These both are all of 3, 7, 8, 9, which is unfortunate. But this band we still don't know a whole lot about. So maybe not super surprising. Okay, so I think that's all the following up we can do there. Interesting. Okay, so we gotta keep looking at boxes then. Let's pay a little bit more attention to this box. We already paid a lot of attention to it, so I don't think there's going to be much more, but let's just make sure. So yeah, we have the 9s marked. There's nothing to mark with 6s, 5s maybe. You know, actually, we do have something here because remember that the 6 was here. The 5 is doing the same thing. So the 5 is limited to these 3, and the 6 is limited to these 3. But also, the 9 is limited to these 2. So we have what's called we have a hidden triple here. Basically, the question we want to ask is where do 5, 6, and 9, this 5, 6, and 9, where do they go in this box? Well, they can't go here, it's basically like a crazy crossing on this 1-8 without using the rest of the stack, or using the rest without using this band. So 5, 6, and 9 are not here because they're in this column here. They're not here. And this 1-8, this hidden 1-8, or if you prefer this 5, 6, 9 we have placed here, they're not here either. And this 3 is occupying one of the spots they could be in. So there's only 3 places left for 5, 6, 9 in this box. So that is a hidden triple. That is, we placed 5, 6, 9 here. This isn't 9, which means these cannot be 4. Because 5, 6, 9 go here, which means 4 cannot. We've used up all 3 cells in order to put 5, 6, 9 in there. So there are no cells left for the 4. If we try to put a 4 here, we don't have enough room for the 5, 6, and 9. So this ends up being the 4. And then this ends up being the other digit we haven't talked about, the 2. So we can clean that up quite a bit. So that's not a 4. This 2 looks over. That's not a 2. 2 ends up down here. What else can we clean up with this? Well, this column now has been reduced to 1, 3, 8, and this can't be 1, 3. So this is the naked single 8. That's the 3. That's the 1. That 3 being placed there gives us the 8, which resolves this 1, 8 pair here. This is not an 8 because of the row. This is not an 8. All right. Here's where we need to make sure we follow up on everything. This is not a 3. This makes a 1, 4, 5 triple in the box. So first of all, the 1s point, because the 1, 4, 5 triple, this is where 1, 4, 5 are going to go. The 1 is only down here. It's not here. So the 1's going to point, remove 1 from here. That means that this is 1, 4, 5 as well. Oops, 1, 4, 5. But you can see the 1 is actually limited just to this cell here. So we place the 1. And this is going to be a triple as well. Just the 3 digits that remain that aren't 1, 4, 5 or 6, 8, 9. So they're the 2, 3, 7. All right. We're left with this 4, 5, this 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. Very nice. There's some complex stuff for a medium in this one. Normally I'd expect some of this stuff to happen in hards, but not even every hard. It's kind of the more difficult hards end up having deductions like this. So I'm wondering if maybe I missed an easier deduction or if this is just a particularly difficult medium, but you never know. I don't think it's very easy to rate the difficulty of a Sudoku, and a lot of it depends on your path and your approach to the solve, and what you're good at spotting and what you're not good at spotting. So really take difficulty metrics with a grain of salt. Often difficulty metrics are simply a measure of what techniques are required to solve the puzzle, and do we expect you to be aware of those techniques or not? And it seems like medium and hard do not have a difference in required techniques, and so you can end up with a varying difficulty between the two that doesn't make sense for their labels. Anyway, we just got a bunch of stuff. Let's make sure we follow up. So we have this filled box column, right? So we just want to look at all these digits, and we want to exclude the 1, 5, and 8. But the 2, 7, and 3 are all going to be interesting. The 7's already marked. The 2 and 3 end up down here, so we can mark that. And this top one's not a 3. So let's see. What else do we have going on here? We have 2, 3, 6, 7 marked here. What are the 2 digits we haven't marked? The 4 and the 9. Is there anything special about 4, 9? No. But what I can say is, even though all of these digits can be 4, 9, what we can do is we can reference our corner marks. And anything with only one corner mark in it, just these 2, are going to be 4, 9 plus that corner mark. So they're worth marking because it's down to 3. Because we just need 4 and 9 in addition to what's already corner marked in here. So this would be 4, 6, 7, 9, right? That's too many digits. This would be 2, 4, 6, 9, right? We're just adding 4, 9 to this, 2, 3, 4, 9. So that's a nice shorthand there, in case you haven't used that trick. As long as you trust all your markings, it works out. Let's see. So I guess we looked at this box. I think that's what we got out of it. We're going to have to keep looking. It's amazing that this puzzle's just hanging on, just refusing to solve. Okay, what I'm going to be doing at this point is I think I might have missed some rows, columns, boxes down to 4 or fewer, like this one. So we're going to try to focus on those right now, because we should have followed up on those. So we're following up now. So we need the 2, 4, 5, 7 here, and we can see that neither of these are 4. So the 4 ends up down here. And that is huge, right? And you're like, what do you mean that's huge? What's that doing? It doesn't seem to be doing much of anything. Well, the 4s down here, they do claim the rest of this box. We didn't know that these couldn't be 4 earlier, but now we do. And I could have probably seen these 4s lining up to have noticed that earlier, but I didn't. But we are going to notice another lineup, which is that now these 4s line up. Basically, where does 4 go in this row is the question we're going to ask. Because this box has 4s cornered here, this box has 4s cornered here, meaning it can't be in these boxes. This claims the box. Because the 4 in this column ends up here or here, the 4 cannot be here, can't be in any of these, because then we wouldn't be able to place a 4 at all in this column. So 4 is not here, 4 is not here, here, or here, 4 is not here. 4 ends up in one of these two. That's going to claim this box, saying these can't be 4. So these are not 4, leaving a 7-9 pair behind. If that's a 7-9 pair, this is not a 7. It's kind of crazy how that worked out. It's a naked pair, though. So the naked pair is going to remove 7 and 9 from the rest of the column. So that's not a 9. It's kind of nutty how that worked out. But let's just verify that these are a naked 7-9 pair. So we're gonna go through every digit except 7-9 and prove it can't be that digit. Cannot be 1. Cannot be 2 or 3. It can't be 4 because the 4s in this row are claiming the 4s. Kind of a weird situation because these claiming 4s are because of these claiming 4s. Really, really crazy interaction there. So they're not 4. They're not 5. They're not 6. Now, why are both of them not 6? It is because we had 6s marked up here. Yeah, so we have the pointing 6s here, taking 6 out of here, and we have this 6 here. We got a lot of interactions here that made this a 7-9 pair. 7 they could be, and they can't be 8, and they could be 9. So they are down to just 7-9 because both of these are down to 7-9. The rest of the box and the rest of the column cannot be 7-9. So that means there's 4 digits left for this box, and we have them corner marked already, the 2, 3, 4, and 6. So we can just convert our corner marks to center marks. And that leaves a 2, 3 pair there. So if that's a 2, 3 pair, the rest of the column and rest of the box cannot be 2, 3. And so we're left with a 4, 6 pair here. That 4, 6 pair means that the rest of the row can't be 4, 6. This is crazy. So this is down to 2, 7, 9. And so the 2 ends up here for the row, and that's going to claim the rest of the box, removing 2 from all of these. We can actually see these 2s lining up now. We didn't know that until we got this 2, 3 pair. Now this 4, 6, 7, 9, notice that 9 now in this column can only be here. So we're going to place that 9. Okay. Same with the box. 9 in the box could only be there. We're going to look at the things we got and make sure we cleared everything out. These can't be 2 anymore. Does that affect anything interesting? I'm thinking about it, but I don't see anything immediately. Wow, this puzzle's nuts. All right, 2, 4, 5, 7 here. This can't be 5, so this is... Oh, and it can't be... These can't be 2 at all. The 2s are here, right? So not 2. So 4, 5, 7 only. I'm going to fill that and remove the 5. I'm basically on the hunt for like a pair or a triple or something that might have missed. Look at all the markings I've got. It's too many. We might end up marking the rest, though, because I feel like with so many markings, it's really easy for me to just be missing something. Like a hidden single, like more claiming, like a pair that's just hiding somewhere. So I am rescanning in the hopes that I happen to see something. I'm going to pay attention especially to our buy value cells, but really everything we have marked could be involved in something. Right, I'm really not seeing it. Okay, so yeah, we know the 2's claimed here. This 3 and 9 could be interesting. We know the 9 can escape there, though. Let's see, what can these be? They can't be 1, 2. They could be 3. They can't be 4, 5, 6. It looks like they could be 7, as far as I can tell. They could be 7. Can they be 8? I think so. I think these are 3, 7, 8, 9. In which case, I don't really want to mark them. Yeah, I can't really prove they're not those. Okay. Yeah, at this point, I think focusing on boxes is the way to go, but honestly, with this many markings, it can be really hard to see the important stuff. So I am doing my best here. This puzzle has been really hanging on. There's probably just one thing that I'm supposed to have already seen that I just haven't. Which, happens. Wow, yeah, we've been like at this for half an hour now. I know I spent time explaining, but still, it's a long time. I'm thinking about these pairs that we got here, and whether we can do more with them. I think I just have to pencil. I have to at least look at every other cell. I realize it's just these 3. I have to look at them and see if maybe they're more restricted than I expected. They don't really seem that way, though. This can't be 1. Ah, okay. So this column needs a 1. That's probably what I'm missing. And this one says not here. So this column needs a 1. It has a hidden single 1, amazingly. So that's our 1. Does that do more for us? Like, let's look at 1s real quick. So this one looks down, that one looks down, this one looks in, this one looks in. That places a 1 here. Now notice that the 8 and the 9 had a corner mark in here when I placed the 1. So we want to pay attention to the 8 and 9 corner mark in here. There's only one 8 corner mark left. And I know it's hard to see, but there's only one left. That removes a 5 and a 9. So now we look at 9 as well. There's only one 9 left. That displaces a 2. There's only one 2 left. This 9 also gives us the 7 here, giving us the 2 and the 6. That's what we needed to find. That's 7, 8, and 6. This is crazy puzzle. These aren't 7, leaving just this cell for 7. This is 5 and 6. We get our 4, 6, 3, 2. This is the 4. This is the 8. This is the 3, and this is the 9. We get the 7 and 9 here. We get the 4 here. We get the 4 and the 5, and the 4 and the 5, and the 4 and the 5. This is not 7, that's not 2. Okay, we get our 3 and our 4. We get our 2, 7, and 3. We get our 5 and our 2. This is 5. This is 7. And we're done. Wow. So it's possible that I just missed something, but I really like the solve path that I took because I think it was neat. So yeah, it's again, I don't know if you needed all of that to solve the puzzle. I'm not some oracle that knows it perfectly how to solve it, but I enjoyed that solve quite a bit. I think there was a really nice demonstration of the different things you can do in this level of difficulty of Sudoku, and how enjoyable it can be because we kept discovering some really neat interactions, especially down in this bottom band. Our initial scan of things found almost nothing. We had to pay much closer attention to certain boxes. I think this box and this box paying attention to were especially fruitful. And then just like a lot of claiming going on, a lot of the hidden single 1 here was not obvious at all, at least not to me. And so, yeah, that was really neat. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as well. And if you did, then why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.